Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome to the 20-minute fashion distraction. I am Jackie Jenkins. You know what we do every Wednesday night? We talk total fashion. And tonight is no different. I hope that everybody had a wonderful week. And just as we've been doing almost for the last 4 weeks, we've been talking about post COVID life and what types of fashions to think about. But more importantly, what does that look like in terms of as we think about going back to work? So, as we say on the fashion distraction, um, you are only as good as you feel. And a key part of not only looking great is how you actually feel. So tonight, I'm excited. I have Dr. Kimberly Williams here with us, and we're going to talk about not only looking great, but really how do you feel? Hey, Jocelyn. So I'm going to bring Dr. Williams on. Hi, Dr. Williams.
Hey, Jacqueline, how are you? Thank you for having me.
Well, thank you. Thank you. So before we go into the show, I always like to take a minute and read the formal bio. And then I'd like to share just some little few points. Hi, Van. And so I should quickly share with the audience that tonight is all about feeling great so that you can look great. And so Dr. Kimberly Williams, who is a pediatric psychologist and neuropsychologist, lends her expertise to working with families and children on a range of issues, included giftedness, social skills, perfectionism, which I think probably a ton of us on this on the show actually deal with. Hi, my sister says hi, Dr. Williams. Hi, Judith. Um, Moodiness and all things that challenge academic success. She helps families with professional children from the courts and stage. I love that. And helps students gain an academic edge. Dr. Kim practices in Long Island, Manhattan, and downtown Brooklyn. And we're going to talk a little bit more about exactly how you can connect with her through her website. And she does counseling virtually and in person. And her website is www.drkimforkids.org. And so that is Dr. Kim Williams. But I just want to quickly say, for all of you that follow me on Instagram at J Curations, and I hope you do. And if you're not following, please do. And you're like, oh my goodness, you travel with a photographer. Oh my God, who's taking those amazing shots? That would be Dr. Kim Williams, who not only is a neuropsychologist, she actually has an amazing eye and could actually double as a photographer. So she's the one that takes the amazing shots. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
I love it. I love it. I have a great subject. Jacqueline's always somewhere fun, wearing something fun.
Oh, thank you. Well, the other thing that's true too is that it just shows how much fun we've had in New York. So now that New York is opening up, I look forward to us being able to do that more. Hi, Claudia. Oh my goodness. She's talking. Oh, Claudia raises a great point that we'll definitely have to talk about. Our comment is the young ladies in Olympics have really showed us how to think about our health and wellness. Absolutely. So the first question, what are some of the emotions that people might be thinking about as they plan to head back to their office?
Oh, that is such a great question because let me tell you, it runs the gamut. I mean, there are a broad range of emotions. I guarantee everyone is feeling more than one or two or three different emotions. There's excitement. We're ready for a change. We're ready to get out of the house. You're returning to the workplace where you're going to be a grown-up now, professional. You're not mommy. You're not the housekeeper. You're not the teacher anymore. So that's fantastic with excitement. And then I think there is some fear and vulnerability. How safe am I? Will my employer cooperate with CDC protocols? You might have some reservations about your work culture that you're walking into. If maybe the big corporate structure culture is different than what your belief system is about COVID. So there's certainly concerns there, and you want to feel like you can advocate for your safety. And I think, there's a hopefulness too. I think in these many months that we've been sitting at home, we've come up with new goals and new motivation. And, now we've got some amazing strategies that we want to try out. So big emotions going back to the workplace. And I don't think anyone could just settle on one.
That is awesome. I love the hopefulness, and you're absolutely right. That is a spark of joy. And speaking of joy, Karen says hello. So does Lisa, and hi.
Hello.
So how can we mentally prepare ourselves? I mean, the reality of it is, I know offices are starting to think about opening up. I think in September, quite a few places have said, once school starts, that they would actually look at opening. How can we mentally, so last week we talked about preparing our closet. So this week, how do we start to really just mentally prepare ourselves so that we can come back to the office?
I think we have to sit with ourselves and be okay with the fact that we are not going to walk into a stress-free environment, and that's okay. We are all exploring something new as we enter the workplace because things are going to be different. There's a different level of comfort and connectedness with your colleagues. There's a different level of protocols within the office. And I know it sounds very cliche, but we need to kind of really just feel our feelings and ride the wave of feelings. I think it is unhealthy to walk around with, I'm okay, everything's fine, and really mask our emotions because they're all very natural, and we need to feel how we feel. I think there's a tendency for us to sometimes to minimize and say, well, I'm not going to be upset or worried about this situation because so many people have it worse than I do. And while relatively speaking, that might be true, how you feel and how you are impacted is very, very true. There's an exercise that I've been doing with some moms that I've been working with about really giving themselves, reframing their thinking and giving themselves a dopamine boost.
Oh,
If you are worried about something and you're stressed about it, your body and your mind is looking for something to help it settle. It's looking for a boost to help it settle. So you could go either way. Dopamine comes if you think about something negative. Dopamine comes if you think about something more positive. So if you're worried about going back into the workplace and you're saying to yourself, well, I'm probably going to get COVID and, after working for a week and then I'll be home again and we'll be on a terrible cycle, your mind is settled in that and you get a boost. But since it's so uncertain and all of this is so uncertain and we don't really know what's going to happen, it's better to reframe your thinking into, I'm going into the workplace. It's going to be different. I can accept that. I'm flexible. I'm ready to go with the flow and make changes if I have to. That's more positive, and you're still getting the dopamine boost. And if you're more positive like this, over and over and over again, you start to change brain cells. And that really fuels us with more positive energy and really keeps us going and more positively energized for the long haul.
wow. That is, first of all, you dropped a lot of knowledge there. I have a follow-up question. First of all, what is dopamine?
It's a neurotransmitter that makes us feel good.
You can bottle up.
You can get it a lot of different ways. So, but we're talking about settling our fears and figuring out a way to think so we're comfortable and more even, and coming up with a resolution gives us that dopamine boost.
And you also raised the point that the more we do it, kind of like exercise, the more we train our minds to be on the positive versus the negative side on that. Can you explain that a little more?
We can change our brain cells. And, I could go on and on about neuroplasticity and how we can alter the way we grow and develop brain cells. But if you train your brain to think more positively, I'm accepting the stress, it is what it is, but I have a logical plan, and my plan is to go with the flow, be flexible, speak up if I'm uncomfortable, then that will become more of your automatic go-to, which enhances more dopamine and decreases that negative stress, that unhealthy stress, that cortisol. So you want to just automatically be able to move towards the positive resolution than the negative.
Love that. I see my mom's here. Hey, Anthony. And also Jack is here. She's like, yes, yes, yes. So settle the fears. I love it. I love it. So on the fashion distraction, and thank you for helping us to settle how we think about going back. Um, but of course, we got to touch on fashion. And, and actually, I went back this week, and one of the things that I focused on was trying to bring bright colors into what I wore. Because to your point, just making sure that regardless how I feel, I felt bright. So I'd love to hear, what role do you see fashion playing as people think about the image they wish to project in the office upon their return? And just be mindful at this point, I think most people have been out of their office for at least 15 to 17 months.
I think everybody's going to approach this differently, but I'm speaking anecdotally. I don't think there's a lot of science here, but I'm speaking anecdotally. I'm speaking of from thinking about myself and talking to my friends. I think comfort is winning out. And when I say that, I think we have started to realize we can be very productive when we're comfortable. And everybody's work culture lends to a different level of fashion in the office place. And so I think what's exciting about the comfort, and Jackie, you know more about this than I do, but the retail and the design industry has really jumped up, here. So now comfort can be glam, and comfort can be chic and style, and comfort can be, very classic. And it's not just, what's on your top and what's on your bottom. I mean, the shoes are more comfortable, the handbags are more comfortable, and I've just noticed that I think there's just a little bit more of a leisure in your professionalism these days. And I think it works.
Mm-hmm. No, I think you're absolutely right. I mean, so much of the trend has been comfort, and actually, there's really been a push on fabrics and materials against your skin that create a sense of comfort, a sense of coziness, a sense of snuggles. So yeah, absolutely. And we need that. We need to be giving ourselves more hugs throughout the day.
Well, I love the ideas of the comfy clothing. And I noticed, and I think there's something to this, that I would wrap scarves around me, or I would throw on different pashminas, or the long gauzy vest. I think being wrapped and kind of swaddled, kind of takes us back
Oh, I
to
love
feeling
that.
comfortable and safe, because I think we've been feeling vulnerable.
Oh, I love that. You're right. You're right. That whole thought of swaddling. Hey, Kathy. And Kathy's like, yeah, right. Real science, definitely, definitely. No, it's true. But I have to remember that point about the wraps and what comfort that can bring. And you're right. I mean, we have been vulnerable. And one thing that I realized that I was doing, like, I was like, oh, you can go back to the office, it's new you, this and that. And I was like, you know what? Let me just bring it down. Let me just take it one day at a time, and approach seriously. Let's not create 5 amazing outfits. No. We're gonna take it one day at a time.
But you know what? You have to be true to you. And if you want to walk in the office and you feel like, I'm going to pop today and I feel amazing and I'm going to dress for how I feel. So if you're up and it's 7 a.m. and you're putting on sequins and stilettos, you do it because that's how you feel. And, sometimes you just dress for your mood. And if that's it, that's okay. You can do it. No, unapologetically.
Well, so you know me too well talking about that. I get it. So I know, Kim. I mean, I'm sorry, Dr. Williams. See this. So I know a significant part of your practice really focuses on kids, and there are some moms in the audience, and we're talking about going back to the workplace, but we also have a significant group of individuals that are going back as well as kids back to school. Can you just share some tips that we may want to think about for the moms and dads in the audience that may wonder what can they do for their little ones?
Well, I think there's a few cute things that I've been saying for a while and sharing with families. First of all, everyone has been in this and everyone has shared a very similar experience. I know a lot of parents are worried about their children being behind, or, there's some regression, but I've got to tell you, your child who's been educated all of these years, I know it's been some months, but they're going to pick up and catch up very quickly. The brain just works that way. Your child is not as behind as you think. I think it's important to reassure your children that going back to school, that they are going to be safe, reminding them that there are new rules and new protocols, but all of this just requires a little bit of adjustment. It's going to be a comfortable, easy acclimation, and they're going to be okay. I think parents and students alike should, appreciate that teachers and administrators are now gaining a new understanding that children have different and varying learning styles. I think we've learned so much in making adjustments from virtual to online, to, hybrid models, in-class models. And so I think there's been a greater appreciation that all children are learning differently. It's going to be amazing that, our children are a generation of kids that are sharing this similar experience internationally for 2020. And it's fantastic to have such a shared experience with regards to education. And I just think it's important to recognize that we're all going to get back on track, and this is our new normal, and we're going to go with it, and we're going to be okay.
I love that. Yeah, I know you're right. It is a new normal. That
We learned a lot about how our kids learn. I think I hear a lot of moms and dads say that, wow, I didn't realize how vocal my child was in the classroom until I was watching them virtually, or I didn't realize, the level of expertise that my child had in this language, or my child had so many vast interests. So just kind of being on the sidelines and hearing how your child interacts as a student has been a really eye-opening experience for a lot of parents. It's taught them a lot.
Yeah, no, that is so true. And I hope that as we continue to think about going back, you're right. I hope that we look for ways to embrace kind of it's kind of like do more of, do less of, right? And so how do we do more of that, like exploration and understanding and engaging? Absolutely. So, but I want to make sure. I know we do this for 20 minutes. Everybody's like, it's too short. Hi, Lee, it's too short. I want to make sure that the audience knows how they can find you best, and really understand your practice and focus.
Oh, sure. Absolutely. I am so passionate about what I do. I love working with children and families and, parenting and young adults. I can be reached. Check out my website. It's Dr. Kim for Kids, drkimforkids.org. You can follow me on Instagram, Dr. Kim for Kids, and it's DRKIM4 kids. And I look forward to everybody send me a shout out, ask me a question.
Oh, that's awesome. And so as you were thinking about fashion and what this moment means, any particular pieces that you're excited to wear or share?
Yes. Can I tell you something? I didn't know I was going to say this on your Facebook show, but pre-COVID, I bought some gorgeous multicolored snakeskin boots. And when I tried them on, I said, oh, I can't wait to show these to Jackie. You haven't seen them yet. I can't wait to wear them.
Yes. It sounds like a fashion moment in New York. I know, and that, but you, thank you. I can't see you. That's the thing that's so kind of wild about like this 17-month period. There are things that just stopped, and now we're like just restarting them. And it is. It there's a vulnerability, but there is also an excitement in it. You know.
It
Yeah.
is. We just need to take a deep breath and put one foot in front of the other and just, we're going to ease into this. And there're going to be some hiccups and there, some obstacles have already popped in our way, and it's coming back to work after COVID. It's coming back to work when, it was messy, political, social. I mean, it's a lot, so we've just got to be good to ourselves, and self-care and self-maintenance. They're two different things. Don't mix them up, and, move forward.
Wonderful. There's one thing that I say at the close of every show. There are things that we cannot get back in our lives, and time is one of them. And
Mm.
so, Kim, I thank you so much, Dr. Williams. I thank you so much for making the time and sharing your insight and passion for making sure that we all feel wonderful. Um,
Oh, thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, audience, for joining. I'm grateful, and I recognize that your time is something that you can't get back. So I thank you for joining me, and I look forward to seeing you next Wednesday. And Claudia, good night. Have a good one. Hang on, Kim.
Okay.